What's up guys? Don here with Quick Improvements. Today I'm going to go over the basics of paint and trim. Gotta love some nice clean painted trim. Alright, so paint and trim is kind of a hectic process. Takes a while, kind of time consuming, especially because I'm a one-man show. So it does take me a while because pretty much in a basement where we're trying to get it perfect on a nice remodel, I do anywhere from 3 to 5 passes on the baseboards as we're going around. I'll kind of touch on the tools that I use and kind of the process that I do briefly, and I would love to hear from other professionals what your process is. If you're DIY, I think I'll go over all the tools you would need to paint the baseboards in your house to get a nice professional grade finish. So quickly, we'll just go over all the tools and kind of the process. So when we get into a remodel, generally always try and have pre-primed millwork, doors, etc. I mean, yes, it is when you put the primer on it and I have control of that. Do I think it looks better? Maybe a little bit, but pre-primed is a huge time saver. Usually what we do, first thing, get the millwork on site, sand it all down quick. So for sanding, you see a palm sander. I use the Festool. Now as a DIY, I would say this is probably a little bit more money than most people are willing to spend, but as a professional, this is my biggest money maker. I love it because in front here we have the HEPA vac to go with it. I connect right to it. I can go right into your house. I can sand away all day and leave little to no dust at all. It's a huge, I mean, it just saves me time, effort. It's clean, it's simple. I absolutely love it. It's worth every cent for me. As a DIY, just a normal palm sander, and actually just a little sanding sponges are still undefeated. I still usually do one pass with the sand sponges to get it in nice clean spots. Especially the millwork we have in here has a lot of detail to it. So to get in those fine kind of cracks and lines, using the sanding sponges that have a little bit of a tip to them, gets in a little bit better than a palm sander. The other thing too with the palm sanders, you really have to be aware of the grit sandpaper you're using and the speed you're going, because you don't want it to dig in and leave lines in the millwork, because then it's just gonna not look great. So, especially if you're a DIY, I'd say stick to the sanding sponges. Takes a little bit longer, but you're gonna get a nice clean finish and not worry about ruining anything. Otherwise, if you're using a palm sander, I would say if you're doing trim indoors, I really wouldn't go below a 220 grit. You're really not gonna screw anything up. Go at a low speed. Just take your time. The last thing you wanna do is scuff anything. In the event that you scuff something or you have unprimed wood, I personally love the Zinsser BIM primer. This has a shellac base to it, so it gives it a little bit of a hardness. It really gets into any wood grain that you have. So especially if you're like remodeling and redoing some oak, I recommend this because it blocks out any yellowing that could come through. It gets in those wood grains, so it kind of fills it a little bit nicer for you, and it just has a nice hardening kind of look to it. It gives it a little more durability. So I like the Zinsser BIM. That's just personal preference. Normal multi-purpose works well too. Now for application, when I'm spraying inside, I usually like to use just a little Graco True Coat, the little hand shot. I'm cheap, so I buy the corded one. They have a cordless one. I just can't get myself to spend the $1,500 on it. But nonetheless, this does a really nice job when I'm working inside. I like this for interior work because it doesn't put out a lot of overspray. So that it's like a 4-inch fan, so I can really get inside and not have to worry about making too big of a mess. I think the bigger airless sprayers or an HVLP would give it a little bit, maybe a little bit nicer finish, but nonetheless, I think this gives a great finish. Now, if you're a homeowner DIY and you're not really ready to take on the spraying, I usually go with 1/4-inch naps. They really say on it what it's for. This says mirror finish on it. If you have the right paint, honestly, a brush and the right nap, you're gonna get a really good finish. So that's how I'd go about that. But to prep everything, so you have your baseboards installed. First thing I always do is I go around with the green frog tape. The green frog tape, in my opinion, is the best. I go around and I outline around all my baseboards. I put this as close to the molding as I can. I want it almost underneath it if possible, because I don't want any paint getting through and onto the floor. Now what's great about this is it has paint blocking technology, so as soon as something gets touches the adhesive, it blocks it out so you don't have any lines. It gives nice true straight lines, to the point that a good little tip is before you start spraying or rolling or brushing on your millwork, go through just like a damp cloth, kind of pre-wet it, just because it will start doing the paint blocking technology for you. It will block out any paint from getting through. So as long as you take your time, mask really nice, this is great. After I get done, I take my hand masker and I mask over the green with this. It just gives me a 1 foot working radius so I don't have to worry about getting paint on the floor. From there, I'll go over and I'll start sanding. So I'll do my first pass of sanding. After that, we like to go through and fill with nail hole repair, some kind of spackling putty. Just fill those holes nice. This is it's a 2-step approach. We do this first. It'll fill all the holes. Again, come back, sand it, wipe it down, and come back over with some bonding glazing putty. So it's important that you're going to want some kind of putty knife, glazing putty. So after you do the spackle, sand, come back over with Bondo, get this nice clean finish on it. I do usually use the putty knife, but sometimes it's easier just to use your finger. Make sure to have some gloves on hand because you will get messy doing the trim. So it's good to keep gloves on hand, so you're going to do that. With finer detail baseboards, I really think using a finger you get like a little bit better application, a little cleaner. Where possible, I do like the putty because it leaves, the putty knife, it leaves less of a mess. But a lot of times now, what's popular is like the 1x4 baseboards where it's flat. Putty knife, you can just go right through, super quick, super easy. So we get our Bondo on. From there, again, we do one more pass with the sander. Quickly, all we want to do is just knock down any of the Bondo spots. So it's red, so you'll see it. You want to get some of that red off without digging into the baseboard. But the more red that comes off, the better. It'll just have a better finish, and then you know you did your job getting it nice, clean, and smooth. Now, before I go through and paint and spray, it's always good to have a couple sponges on hand when you're doing baseboards because it's just nice to clean your hands off. Your hands are going to get dirty. So I always keep a wet sponge around, wet rag, usually some Ajax or some Dawn. Again, just keeps things nice and clean. So after you spackle, sand, Bondo, sand, come through, wipe everything down. Now before we can paint, we have to caulk. I like the Sherwin-Williams caulk. I think it just lasts the best. You can get the other cheap stuff from Menards and Home Depot, it works great too, but I'm finding that this stuff cracks way less. If time is possible, I like to caulk and then wait till the next day to paint, so if anything pops, I'm going to see it right away and I can re-caulk it, fix it right away, so when I go and paint, there's no pops in my caulk, it's nice and clean. I always personally caulk the top of the baseboard and where the shoe molding hits the baseboard. I do both spots. I think it looks clean around doors. We do the whole frame. Anywhere that there's seams, I put a little bit of caulk. Quick tip on caulking, when you cut your tip, I always think it's better to start with the smallest possible tip that you can. And if you need to, at some point, go back for bigger spots, open it up. I usually keep 2 open, one with a really small tip, one with a little bit bigger of a tip. That way, if there's bigger gaps, I can fill it with a bigger tip, smaller gaps. The goal is to use the least amount of caulk possible to fill that gap, but still good enough so it's not going to pop right away. So it's kind of a fine balance. It takes some time. Basically, just put some caulk on there, take your finger, wipe it. This is where having the Dawn or the Ajax on hand, put a little on your finger, it's not going to stick, wipe right on in there. Nice, clean, simple. You don't want to be a big mess. There's nothing worse than going home looking like this where you have caulk and stuff all over you. So keep some rags on you, keep a sponge, keep it nice and clean. You're going to be good to go. From there, again, I usually do one more wipe with some water, just clean it all off, hit it with the vacuum. I usually keep tack towels on hand. These are literally just sticky towels. Run that over that grabs any dust, take an old dust brush, clean everything off, then you're ready to spray. That is finishing millwork in a nutshell. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it, but that's kind of the quick couple-minute overview on what you're going to need to do it and what you're going to need to get a good finish. As far as paint goes, I really love the Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane. This is usually my go-to. Otherwise, if sometimes the colors don't come in Emerald Urethane, Pro Classic from Sherwin-Williams is great. The key here is whatever product you use, make sure it says urethane trim enamel or trim enamel something. You want the urethane. It's a hardening agent. This is what you would put on your cabinets, on your doors, on your baseboard so that they don't wipe off the paint like it sticks. It's hardening. It has hardening agents. Over time, the longer it sits on there, the longer it cures, it gets harder and harder and harder and tougher and really protects that surface from, wear and tear. So it's always important to make sure you're using a trim enamel urethane. That is probably, if you get anything out of this, please use the urethane. You will not regret it. Spend a little extra money on it. So that is the quick overview on how I go about prepping and painting millwork. Any other fellow professionals, I'd love to hear your process. DIYers, watch this video, look at the products I use. It'll give you a really good understanding of what you're going to want to do to prep your space and get ready to paint those baseboards. I'm Don with Kwik Improvements. Make sure to look us up on social media. On Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, just search Kwik_improvements. head over to our website, www.kwickimprovements.com. You can see a list of all of our services that we provide. We do a lot of remodeling, a lot of painting, junk removal, drywall, you name it. There's probably a chance we do it. So head over there, get in touch with us on there. Our email's right there. My phone number's on it. Give me a call. We can talk about your project. I'd love to hear about it. Otherwise, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow along for more content like this, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.